actually I did, didn't I? Maybe there's a lag.
There's a lag. There's a lag.
It was anything that had a little bit more white around the edge. But if the, I trimmed that one and I still want to trim a little bit more. It's like what's the name of the anal retentive chef? And then we just put
So you're looking for like a lighter shade of green as opposed to a white shade?
You're looking for greener with less white. You're also looking for the area around to be more consistent, so not a different shade altogether, so that it looks like it's one piece and it's clean all the way through. Okay, so we've prepped the asparagus, and all we need to do now is drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. I forgot that I need to get in and
drizzle me like an Italian, baby.
yeah, this kitchen is not designed for maximum success. Okay, so literally all we're going to do is drizzle a little bit of olive oil. I would say maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons was all we really used. I'm going to take a little bit of garlic salt, of course. Just a thin coat. And then we're going to take some Progresso Italian Italian breadcrumbs. Well, that was a little foreshadowing, wasn't it?
Now, why breadcrumbs?
Well, the breadcrumbs, honestly, it's just a way to add a little bit of texture, like a little bit of crunch, a little bit of different texture, and then most importantly, flavor. The breadcrumbs have the herbs and the seasonings, so just a light dusting makes all the difference in the world. And again, I didn't come up with this. This is the way that John Miller makes his asparagus. Okay, so here we have it. The asparagus is prepped and ready to be put into the oven, and it should only take about maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes total. So the next thing that we're going to do is, these are a little bit more expensive than getting like the really big containers. But here's what I'm going to tell you. There's convenience, there's effort, there's a bunch of different factors that you have to take in. And I figured that if it cost 50 cents more, but I didn't have to peel, I didn't have to cut, I didn't have to do anything, it was worth paying the extra little amount, and they're perfectly ready to be served. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steam these carrots until they're just tender. So maybe steam them for about 7 to 10 minutes total. Once they're tender, or mostly tender, we're going to pull them out and we're going to prepare them to be roasted in the oven, being brushed with a little bit of butter and a little bit of Grand Marnier, which is an orange flavored liqueur. Very, very bougie. But I'm going to tell you, it's absolutely delicious.
Did you say bougie?
I did say bougie.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so putting the steamer on.
For future group shots, we need a pitcher of water or something out here so we don't bug you getting drinks.
What?
Do you have a pitcher of water by chance?
You want water. Now you need me and have to respect me. Oh!
Only until I get the water.
You know what I hear? I hear that a human body can only go 24 hours without water. So I guess we'll just find out how long you... No, I'll get you... No, I can't give you water because you...
It's required.
Bathroom's that way.
Here. I'm gonna...
Oh.
Wait.
It's designed to hold water.
It is. Why don't you give that to me and I'll hook you up. More, sir.
What's that?
There's that sexy back again.
It is. It's got a nice backside. Good broad shoulders. You work out.
One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Okay, so the water's beginning to steam for the carrots. The asparagus is ready to basically be put into the oven. So I forgot. It's my fault. But we need to get the squash in because the squash takes a long time. A long time. If you have a pressure cooker, which I do not, it takes less time. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one acorn squash. And I think this is ingenious, and I'll tell you why. There are people that love squash. And so you can peel it, you can chop it up, you can roast it, you can steam it, you can pressure cook it, and then you blend it up and make it into something that has the consistency of baby food. And there's people that like that. I don't. I hate things that are the consistency of baby food. And I figure that since we're doing this and we're trying to do it on a budget, there are 10 individual wedges on this acorn squash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roast it in half, and then I'm going to cut it into the individual wedges, and I'm going to put it on the plate with that wedge so that all you do is take a fork and scoop it out. And it should, in theory, be beautiful and clever and give everybody a taste of squash without you having to do hours of work to prep and get it ready. Because I'll be honest, if I'm not that big a fan of squash, I am not going to bleed through my fingers to make other people happy.
He doesn't like us that much, Jaime.
I
guess so.
I do. I really do. But if you like squash, you're dead to me. Okay.
He's got the knife.
Oh,
I wouldn't cut on the ceramic.
Yeah, not only that, I honestly I think it was too small a knife, and that I was probably going to end up hurting myself. So what I'm doing is I'm using the bread knife, which is a serrated knife, and I'm cutting trying to cut.
If you flip it upside down and start from the other end.
Well, that was
It should be like that one party where we had to call the ambulance.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I hate you all. First of all, the only time that we've ever had to you know what? I'm not going to go into it.
Were you there for that one, Jaime?
I don't think so. Pretty sure I wasn't.
Maybe
Okay.
just helping him in the kitchen and she dropped him.
So we've got the squash basically cut in half. One side is bigger than the other, which bothers me a little bit on an OCD level, but we'll roll with it. I'm going to scoop out the seeds.
Are we saving the seeds?
Do you want to save the seeds?
I was thinking, can we cook them?
Do you want me to save you the seeds? Because I love her, and I will save her the seeds. Okay, I will. Whatever you're going to do with this is your business.
Are you trying to give my wife your seed?
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to move to the Midwest after this show because of Lee. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, so the seeds come out pretty readily. I mean, if you, the key is the right tool. This spoon is just, I think, the perfect size for this acorn squash. But if you're doing it at home and you're using a smaller spoon, it may take a little bit more effort. But it looks like all the pith and the seeds and the strings are coming out pretty clean. So what you're left with is an empty shell, which is really just an analogy for how we feel right after Thanksgiving dinner.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a ridiculous game, which is called Stabby Stab. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a fork and we're going to puncture some holes in the squash because we want it to allow what we're going to be putting into the center to sink in and flavor the squash. Okay, so I would love to tell you how to pick out a squash that's ripe and ready to be roasted. Nobody ever taught me. I just got lucky. This one is coming along marvelously.
You look for firm with no soft spots.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put butter. We're gonna put butter. We're gonna put a little bit of brown sugar, and we're gonna put a little bit of seasoning in, and then we're gonna put it into the oven with the chicken. And I think, oh yay, the pan that I was gonna use is wired shut. Okay, improvise, adapt, overcome. Oh, and a special thanks goes out to Rockbox, the gym that I go to that has me unable to bend over or move like a normal human being. How fantastic is that? Okay, so this doesn't quite work as well as I would like. Oh, bending. Okay, I have some oven-safe containers, which is great, and they're smaller, so that's also great. What we're going to do is we're going to take these two containers, we're going to melt that butter,
He's asking if you can turn the secondary can.
So we need technical adjustment.
Yep, sorry. They're missing out on the action right about there.
Okay. Thank you for saving the day yet again, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take the butter, and could you go into that closet one more time and grab
And
me
then
the
come out
brown
of it
sugar?
flamboyantly.
Yay!
Yeah.
What do we need?
Glitter.
Your
Glitter?
new nickname will be Brown Sugar.
I'm sorry.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for a bag of brown sugar. It should be right at eye level. Should be right there.
Behind the four hub.
Perfect. Thank you, Brown Sugar.
Yep.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
That should be stripper league.
So,
What's your call sign now?
Call sign brown
Instigator,
sugar. Yeah.
Brown sugar.
Yeah.
okay, so I've got one whole stick of butter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt it in the microwave by moving things around so that I can get into the microwave. We're almost there. I can feel it.
Salted or unsalted butter?
I use salted. But you're free to use what you like, and if you're vegan and you don't want to use butter, you can use like a. I cannot believe it's not butter, or you can use some of the other products that are out there that are designed specifically to be vegan. What are you timing?
I was wondering if you had a time hack on the chicken. You went in at 7 on the chicken, and I've just silently been watching the time clock. So you're 20 minutes in.
20 minutes in.
19 to be exact.
That is fair. I appreciate it. Once I get the butter melted and the squash ready to go in, I'll pull the chicken out. I'll show everybody where it is. We'll turn it so that the side that's been out of the liquid is in the liquid again. and then we'll go into prep for the stuffing and the mashed potatoes.
And then he'll pass out our frequent angioplasty cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, it needs another minute on the water getting ready to steam for the carrots. Okay, the butter is now melted. I did it for like 45 seconds, and then I did it for another 25 seconds. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in about 2 heaping tablespoons of brown sugar. Okay, now the thing about squash is that squash is a lovely, very, very subtle flavor, and you don't want to destroy it by putting too much in. So I have the brown sugar and the butter mixing very, very lightly, mostly because there isn't a lot of space in the container, and I don't want to splash butter and brown sugar all over the floor, which I will then have to clean up later. But we're almost there, and what I'm going to do, as far as spice goes for this, I want something that's savory, but also something that has a little bit of that warm, sweet, soft flavor of a squash. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little